why isn't there a place for me to go and have my Warhammer battles, 40K battles, if it was so popular? But you know what I do have in town? A bookstore.
What will make you care?
So there's an argument going on, and we decided to cover it because it's starting to boil up again. That argument being, what's more important? Is the tabletop more important? Is the lore more important? How does the medium of video games, TV programs, and whatnot fit into that? The battle that's going on currently right now mainly is between tabletop people versus book lore people. Chainsword, a longtime 40K person, actually just, I should say, a longtime tabletop RPG guy and lore expert, is diving into this, and with the latest announcement of a character called Caiaphas Cain. Caiaphas Cain, what is it, 2026, is about 25 years old now. He's a character that came out in a book. He's a really goofy character in a lot of ways. I won't get in too much into his lore, but basically 40K universe is extremely grimdark, horrific, it's very serious, and out of nowhere, they kind of throw jokes in there all the time. And Caiaphas Cain is essentially a meme character, especially his bodyguard on the side there. You can see in the picture, that's Jurgen. So, what's going on here? This is what kind of restarted the debate again from this character named Heart-Shaped Tear. The miniature game was established first and is the primary Warhammer 40K experience. The lore is made to get you to buy miniatures and play the game. It is secondary. This is followed up from a comment by a guy named Clint Warren Davey. It says, playing 40K, the actual miniatures game, didn't give an accurate feeling of what Space Marines were meant to be. They are meant to be like a one-man army, like a demigod. Chainsword dives into this and says, once again, tourists don't understand that nobody would give a shit about 40K if it wasn't for the lore. There are plenty of other war games out there with cheaper miniatures and better rule sets. The 40K IP is the lore because this is the main selling point. So the argument that's going on right now is the majority of GW's income is coming from the miniatures being sold themselves. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the miniatures made the lore or the lore made the miniatures, and which one's going to make us fucking money, if that makes any sense? Chainsword's argument is really good in my opinion, but obviously I'm biased. He's basically saying if there was no lore, why would anyone want to buy these things, especially spending like an exorbitant amount of money on them? Tabletop people are like, we don't care, we just want to play our goofy game, buy them, whatever, doesn't matter to us. So this is like an age-old argument. I think, Logan, you could jump in here a lot with the fact that like a He-Man show or a Thundercat show, I mean, those are great and all, but how does the company actually make the money? It's off the figurines, it's off the memorabilia, it's off all the merch that they end up selling. But if you didn't have the show first, if there was no lore, without saying so, or ipso facto, if there was no lore, would anyone care about this? Mm-hmm. So Chainsword's using Caiaphas Cain, number one. A couple of weeks ago, he used Commissar Yarrick coming out, which also drove up a lot of hype for people to go and buy these things, etc. So that's kind of the annoying Twitter battle that's going on right now in the Warhammer universe. I'll leave it there so you guys can comment, because I've been talking a lot.
I think the answer is that the lore is the soul of a particular universe or a character, and then the body is whatever the physical product is. Yeah. So just like with action figures, let's say now we have He-Man, because I'm just thinking about that. Yeah. We do want to get, for example, the action figure of He-Man from the movie, let's say, because we are hyped about the movie. So the movie is the soul of that action figure, and the action figure is the physical manifestation of it. We want to have it, we want to hold it in our hands, we want to give our money for that.
It's like Tsunami said with the other properties before, that you create the He-Man, you create the show, you create the lore about the show and the toys, so that you can sell the toys. Otherwise, people will say, what is this muscular guy there, and what does he do?
Yeah,
why should I buy that? Explain to me. And they did the same thing with Transformers. You know, this was a Diaclone toy line that comes from Japan. They were actually mech suits with small pilots inside. You know, they were not sentient robots. You know, they were piloted, and then Hasbro took it and decided, okay, they're going to be sentient, but we need to create a story about it. They hired actually Bob Budiansky, I think it was his name, a comic book writer, to write the Bible of the characters. To say Optimus Prime is this guy who is doing this, and you can read and you know there is lore behind that. After that, you create the show and you say, well, that's a cool show, right? Is there something about those characters that I can read? Yes, there is. Okay, let me now buy the toys. That's it. Most of my friends who are actually into Warhammer, they got into this because of the books. They first read the books. Most of the guys that I know, actually. So you need the lore. Yeah.
I have an anecdotal story. As an annoying child myself, there was a cartoon show called G.I. Joe. Everyone was like, wow. And you got to watch fucking military people. Go figure my life choices later on. But you got to watch all these cool military people. And this guy's from the Marines. And this guy's from the Army. And this guy's a fucking astronaut. And they managed to hype you up so that you were the annoying kid to be like, Mom, buy me this one. Mom, buy me this one. Because you wanted to go and have the same adventures outside of the 20 minutes that you got to spend with them during the cartoon show. This is an example of the lore going ahead and driving up the sales. I wanted the fucking toys so me and my friends could have fucking battles and whatnot, which is an earlier example of exactly what's going on in the Warhammer universe. Now, whether you end up seeing the toy first and then you want to go back to the lore, or you find the lore first and then you want to have the toys too because you want to play the games with them or whatever, I think that they're symbiotic with each other. But people have taken sides on this, and I'm not exactly sure why. I guess it's just like, it's a Tuesday and I want to fight about something. But that's kind of the argument that's going on right now. I just think that it's not being classified correctly with the fact that the game came first, whichever one. The whole reason why people were like, what do these guys do? What the hell is a chainsword? What does that do to someone? That it's sprung up curiosity in people's mind, and then the lore really got filled out. So I watched an interaction between Chainsword and some other people, and they were being pretty good faith. One of the things was a guy said, I got into the miniatures first. That's how I got into this space. The guy mentioned he got into it in 3rd edition, which is like 25, 30 years ago that came out. Chainsword made an excellent point saying, you know what? You're right. That probably was the thing way back in the day. But now, how are people being exposed to Warhammer and Warhammer 40K? It's through games. It's through media. It's through word of mouth where people are like, hey, you might want to get into this series if you're really missing out. So I think that times have changed. I can hear both arguments. Who's the face of fucking 40K right now? It's Titus. Titus is the face of 40K to normies, not people that have known about this world for a long time. People played Space Marine and they were like, this is fucking awesome. That made them want to learn about it more. So that's what I think is going on right now.
It used to be when you just go to the, let's say, to a toy store and you looking for what to buy. And let's say you see a Monopoly and you buy it and whatever. But now we need to see the digital side first. We need to see what is popular and why. We need to measure whether or not it's worth the money. All of those things, they're essential. The digital universe is essential for our perception of what to buy because money are scarce, difficult times, and we need a lot more information now to make a purchase decision. So it's very important for us to know why we are giving our heart, our money. The mere fact that there's so much interesting stories and lore and character that made Logan a toy collector to begin with,
exactly,
action
to
figure
begin with,
collector. That is what made me want to have some particular figures because I can't fit them all, but of my favorite characters because I want to see them manifested on my shelf. It's just that thing where you need to have this physically and to see it, but before that you need to care. And what will make you care? You know, well, it's the lore.
Yeah, I have seen figures of, random heroes that I know nothing about it, and I say, well, that guy looks cool, but what can he do? And then I read about it, and I say, well, now I want the figure. It's just how it works. Yeah, in the beginning it was first.
Part of the argument that's going on right now is another game called Trench Crusade.
Oh, yes.
You guys have heard of it, but has any normal person heard of it? No. They're like, what the hell is it? What are you talking about, World War I? No one knows because the lore is so shit. There's no reason to drum up fucking hype. If you want to play the game, cool. You want to play a new game, that's fine. But that's not really like attracting like large masses of people. Yeah. You want to go ahead and have a setting that not only has a cool looking character where someone might be like, oh, because we don't walk around in stores anymore. I get everything off of Amazon or whatever. Like, who the fuck goes and walks around looking in, I'm going to look at a toy shop. What toy shops? They don't exist anymore. at least for the most part. It's very like niche. And as a result of, you need more than just someone window shopping to go ahead and drive up your thing. You see the character or whatever it is, there better be more than that for me to go ahead and want to spend, exactly like you said, hard earned money on this. This shit's expensive. Then you got to buy paint and everything fucking else for it too. You better make me want to fucking care about this. And frankly, if there's no background to it, it's just like, okay, I'll paint one and that'll be that. Well, you don't have an army. Well, I don't care because I don't play the game. But I thought that this one character looked really cool, and I would like to have this in my house. So this battle is going to continue on, but I think Chainsword really made some strong points in his arguments, along with some other people that are on his side.
Yes, so very important
indeed.
points before I forget. Chainsword, of course, he knows about the world of Trench Crusade, which some people tried to escape to because they thought that Warhammer 40k is absolutely falling apart because of the woke stuff. And behold, the whole team behind freaking Trench Crusade is like woke tards that started block people on Discord. And that was covered by me and by other people for months. So, Trench Crusade was not a safe haven. The world looks, well, to some people it looks interesting because they like the grittiness, but really, Trench Crusade is basically all about demonic stuff, a disgusting rot. Everybody looks like they're corpses. They're amalgamation of a few creatures put into one. The most horrific imagery that I ever seen in a fictional universe, basically. It is downright disgusting. I have to explain. It's not my thing. In 40k, you have many things that are appealing, some things that are gross, like everything that has to do with Nurgle, let's say. But you have all of that is, and it comes basically in a bowl of balance, because you have cool shiny things and you have disgust things that you're supposed to fight against. But in Trench Crusade, everything is disgusting. There is nothing that looks pristine or good. Everything is so gritty and dark that is, just as close as possible to complete rot as you can get. I don't know how this could be like escapism for some people. For sure some people maybe, but others no. Anyway, the exact very cool example that I wanted to give you from my childhood is something profound. So listen, guys. My dad brought me to a toy store to buy me an action figure because
Such a good person.
Such a good person. I didn't had any girly stuff. I liked only men's stuff. I like cars. I like to play with only superheroes or action figures. Horses, that's it. That's my toys. I didn't have any girly dolls or whatever. So my dad brings me to the store. What?
Maybe not for little girls, that's a thing, but for women it is. You like guys that look like superheroes, expensive cars. It sounds like, oh wait, they grew up and they're like, these are the things that I want now.
I thought you were laughing about girly toys. Okay.
Okay, can I tell it before I forget?
Go.
Sorry.
Okay, so my dad brings me to the store, and I see a figure of Hercules, the legendary journeys of Kevin Sorbo as Hercules, and next to him, guys, I see Xena, warrior princess action figure. And my brain, because my brain doesn't know who Hercules is.
This version.
This version, the shows were not in Bulgaria. The shows came like 10 years later in Bulgaria. So I didn't know what are those heroes. I had no idea. So my brain is like, this is a muscular freaking cool guy and he has swords and a shield. And this is a woman, I mean Xena, that has also swords and a shield, but she's a woman. So I didn't know I haven't seen like a female action hero, so I had no concept of that in my little brain. So I was like, I'm gonna get the man because he's a man. And that's the only thing that my brain knew. So I got Hercules, and little did I know. I mean, based on nothing, based on no lore, that's what I mean. Based on no lore, just I got the guy because, I thought that he's a cool action hero, which I was correct, but I didn't know anything about Xena. So little did I know that years after that, I'm gonna see Xena Warrior Princess for the first time, and I'm gonna be absolutely like the biggest fan in the world, and then my brain is going to remember that I missed the opportunity to get an original action figure of Xena Warrior Princess, and I'm going to burn inside because knowing the lore, that's my point, knowing the lore, knowing the character, now I'm connected to that with my whole freaking being, and I missed this opportunity because I didn't know who she was.
Just to say that because it was in Bulgaria, it probably wasn't the original version.
No, it was.
How do you know?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, the packaging and everything, I seen that
The
on
packaging
eBay.
is all is the same. I have seen the bootleg versions. The package is the same.
I don't know what to tell you.
But by the way, I have a similar story. My mother brought me to a toy shop and I saw the two figures.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was and I didn't knew anything about these two guys except I saw on the box it's a Kevin Sorbo with a bow and you see his face. I just saw the sign Hercules and you say, "Oh, I know who Hercules is." But I didn't know that there is a show and things like that. I saw the woman. Also, it said Hercules because it was Xena from her appearance on there. And I say, it looks like a cool warrior there, but that there is supposed to be Hercules.
Yeah. So again, the point is we both made decisions based on the little that we know, which is the soul of what we thought that we know, and we want to have the physical representation of that. But if I had the lore, if I had the character knowledge, I would pick
buy Xena.
Xena.
Yeah.
Well, I also buy Hercules, but if I had to choose between the
If you had to
two,
choose, yeah.
because my parents didn't have money, I would choose just Xena. That just proves that when you don't know anything, you just make a decision based on basic things that you have in your brain, which are not physical. Not physical concepts.
This reminds me of stories when I wanted to buy another Batman figure as a child, and my mother used to ask me, "Don't you want a Robin? You don't have one." I say, "Hell no, I want a freaking Batman again." Just a different version of the suit. Why would I need the Robin?
Yeah. Okay. Tsunami, finishing thoughts about this topic?
When I was a kid, like I said, if I could go ahead and go to the toy store, which they existed back then, and I get a chance to buy either Shipwreck or Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, I'm going to buy Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. Why? Because I saw their battles on screen and it really hyped me up. If there are people that are out there that are like, I love Warhammer 40K because I love the minis, I love having battles, I go on the weekend and do that, that's my hobby, that's great. And I appreciate that. But I still think it's going to be a much smaller subset of the people that are like, I'm bored, I want to know a new story, I'd like to learn a new fantasy world. And they get introduced to 40K, which is enormous. Then they get more into it. Then they want to buy shirts. They want to buy minis. They want to buy statues. They want to buy all the kind of merch that you can. I think that we're going to go ahead and figure this debate's going to get figured out very quickly when normies get exposed to the 40K Amazon show. We're going to go ahead and see how much increase or decrease there is in terms of people wanting to buy merch from Warhammer. And I think that a lot of it's going to be lore. People are going to want the books. So I just see people wanting to like round out their knowledge in terms of what's going on there. And I think that lore is going to win out in the long run. The lore is going to end up selling your models. If the lore is cool, that's great. So currently what we have right now is people being like, tabletop is life, blah, blah, blah. And be like, okay, then why did everyone get excited about Commissar Yarick? Because they studied his stats ahead of time? Or because he's a badass motherfucker? Or Caiaphas Cain. Caiaphas Cain is just like walking meme. He's so fucking funny. The stuff that happens to him, he's also a badass. No, people got hyped because they knew the lore. If Colonel Commissar Gaunt comes out, I think they'd get hype about that too. That's my personal take on it and which way I see things going. You want fucking to make more money? Make lore that people give a shit about, and then they're gonna fucking spend money in your direction.
Yeah.
The example with me is the same actually. I had no idea about the Space Wolves before that, and Ragnar Blackman, who is my favorite one. I read the lore about him, listened to the books about him. I really like him. I said he's kind of like Wolverine, but from Warhammer things. And I have a figure. Guess what? I have a figure. And I have two other random Space Wolves because I said to go with him, and I'm off because those things are expensive, the action figures, not the miniatures.
So I would just want to say at the end of everything, again, this whole conversation is stupid. Because
in conclusion,
because again, there is no point to argue for one or the other. This is like the body and the soul. You can't have an alive body without the soul. You're just going to have an object without any meaning behind it. You wouldn't have any reason to want it in the first place. Some people want to play the tabletop without knowing anything, but that is still because some of their friends told them about certain things and they got them into the hobby. They don't have anything better to do, so they went and they have a lot of money, so they spent money to buy miniatures, painted them, and went to war. I just don't think though that that's really enough to be that excited only based on your friends. I'm sure there's exceptions, but for the most part it's going to be always the lore to give life to the miniatures, and then you want to go buy the miniatures if you can afford it and participate in the whole tabletop thingy.
A last quick example, Ninja Turtles. How many of you know that there was a comic book from 1984?
What?
Here we go. Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yay.
exactly.
It was the cartoon that made and the toy line, and then you can go back to
and
the
after
comic
that,
book,
the toy line, you
and then the next. No, the toy line was first.
The toy line
They
was
created
first.
the cartoon for the toy line. Yeah.
So they can promote the
They
toy
can
line.
promote the toy line.
So
Yes.
again, so you do
I
need...
apologize. I'll make one last statement because the thought just occurred to me, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I live in a small mountain town somewhere in the United States. Doesn't matter. Do you know what I have in town? McDonald's. Do you know what I have in town? Wendy's. Do you know what I have in town? Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A, etc. Why isn't there a place for me to go and have my Warhammer battles, 40K battles, if it was so fucking popular? No, it's extremely niche. I have to go to far away fucking places. But you know what I do have in town? A bookstore.
Exactly.
Good point.
Exactly.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Another quick point. We met a British person who knew nothing about Warhammer.
Yes. Yes.
Here in Bulgaria, we met
Yeah,
him,
he's
yes.
also above 50 years
Typical
old.
British guy.
Yeah, absolutely
You know,
typical British
absolutely.
guy, pretty cool guy, and he's like above 50 and he has no idea what Warhammer
I think he
is.
even said, "What's tabletop?" Or something. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he said.
Yeah, with his British accent, no less.
What's tabletop?
Yeah. So here you go. That also happens. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. But let us know, guys, what you think in the comments about this lore, miniatures, or both. Because they're, like Tsunami said, a symbiosis.
Yeah.
For the imperium must not fail. Imperium we prevail. The warriors march with sacred might. Their purpose burning crystal bright. To lift the throne world from its plight and guard humanity's light.